Hey everybody, this is Structural Steve again today, and we're going to continue our 3D rebar modeling series with part 2 of the custom reinforcement tool known as Irregular Dispatch. Alright, so in the last video we talked about the Irregular Dispatch tool, covering most of the things on the main reinforcing tab here, but the one thing we kind of left out was really showing the different things with this dispatch method here. So we'll go ahead and show some of those things here. I'm going to draw some guidelines outside of the concrete element here just to make it more clear what we're looking at here. I got my level set for my guideline of the element that I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line. And I'm going to do these in segments here. So I'll kind of start where the edge of the footing here would be in this case here. And I'm going to go down 2 feet in 2 feet increments. So I'm going to go down 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is a line element with multiple segments, right? 5 different segments here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one over. Kind of take a look at this. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say select my concrete, select my guidelines, and I'm going to start by looking at the vertex for option here. So what this option does is it ignores the spacing and it just puts the bars wherever your vertices of your line elements are, your guidelines here. So this can be really useful if you want to space bars at specific increments, like around anchor bolt blackout or a drain pipe or something like that. You can draw your guidelines in with certain vertice spacings, and then your bars will automatically be spaced like that. And you can move those vertices, the bars will move with those. So that's kind of the nice thing about this option here. So what is the difference between the vertex spacing combination here? So we see what the vertex is. The spacing is going to go just based on the spacing here. So this is going to say, okay, I have 10-foot line segments, ignoring the vertices, doesn't care about it. And it's going to put a bar every 1 foot. So that's why I have 11 bars total, because there's 10 spaces of 1 foot. It's going to be 11 bars. So the combination, right, when I switch over to that, it doesn't look like any different initially. But what it does is it recognizes the different line segments that make up those guidelines here. And it looks at the quantity here. And it also kind of like double count the number of bars in a given segment. So the bars that are shared between segment 1 and 2 kind of double counts those. But the thing we can really look at here is what this is going to do once we start playing around with these numbers in here. So we can go ahead and say, all right, I have an offset of maybe 3 inches, and it's going to apply that 3-inch start offset to all the bars on the beginning of these segments here. And then I'll change the end offset to 3 inches as well. We'll kind of see what that does. So this first segment here is from this vertex to this vertex, right? And so the distance from that vertex to the first bar is 3 inches, because that's what I said in my offset. Same thing for this one. Beginning of that specific segment of this guideline here to the center of that bar, 3 inches. So it's doing the spacing in combination with the offsets here and respecting the offsets relative to the vertice points of the guideline here. So you can take it a step further and actually manipulate the number of lines within each line segment here too. So we'll kind of take a quick look at that. Segment 1 is going to be this first one here. So if I say, okay, I only want 2 bars in that first segment, then I see this first segment now only has 2 bars, right? That's the first segment of that line there. If I change this to, let's say 1, it's only going to have it on this first vertice of this segment here. Now I still see a bar here because segment 2 still has these bars here. But if I go and start changing these, say 2, now that's 2 bars on this segment here. But I can change this to, let's say 1 again. And now I'm still not going to see anything different because, again, I'm sharing vertices here with the next set of bars here. So if I go ahead and just change all these to 1, we'll start kind of seeing where the differences start coming in here. So I can just say 1 bar per segment, right? Except for the last one, right? Because this last one I'm saying This bar belongs to this segment, this bar belongs to this segment, and so on and so forth. So that's where the 5 segments, 5 bars. That's why I'm seeing these 5 bars here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep going through this. Now the stagger, I'm gonna set these kind of to something normal here. I'm gonna go back to like a combination method and take all these quantities off of these guys. And actually, you know what? I'll just do space. It's probably easier to kind of see what's going on with this. So 10-foot line, 11 bars, because I'm spaced to 1 foot here. Now, if I wanted to stagger these bars, that's where this comes into play here. So I can stagger these by, like, let's say 1 foot, and every other bar is going to be staggered by that 1 foot distance. So if I measure the distance from that first bar to this second bar here, that's that 1 foot offset there. So you can stagger these. There's some use cases for that we'll kind of get into later on, but that's the last little option really here in this main menu. I kind of showed the templates earlier. You can set up these templates. These are really nice, and we have these set up in our workspace here. So once you get some settings the way you like them, you can actually go ahead and you can create like a new folder if you wanted to in here. Just create a new folder. And in this case, I think I had this one selected, so that's why I created like a subfolder. I really don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm not selecting anything. I'm just going to come up here and say new folder. And then from there, you can save template as, which is going to save the settings of this template. And I can call it whatever I want to. And then next time I come back into that tool, in the template tool, I have that folder and that template that is saved in there. So this is super useful. A lot of these templates, a lot of the things way we reinforce, footings and columns and caps are going to be very similar. So saving templates not only help you with the level assignment, which we talked about earlier, but it also help you just with those repetitive caps of elements that we're going to be modeling over and over and over again. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like and make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications of when the next video in the series comes out. Thanks for watching.